recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list? Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trivial Warfare. As you can tell by the sound of my voice and not Jonathan's, this is the Women's History Month episode. And I am joined today by 4 very lovely guests. I have Beth Wallen, Liz Thaler, Jackie Goodman, and Ashley Gray. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi. Well, let's get to know you guys a little bit better. Beth, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell everyone who you are, where you're from, and something fun about yourself.
I am Beth Wallen. I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And the fun thing about myself is I have a shocking lack of geography knowledge for as well-traveled as I am. So there you go.
Where's your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Africa.
Africa? That's cool.
Anywhere in Africa is just fantastic. So
awesome. Liz?
Hi, I'm Liz Thaler here in NYC, baby. Something fun about me that's, I guess, appropriate for the month is I once wrote a play about Kathleen Hanna, and she found out about it and wrote about it on her blog, and she and I had a brief email exchange about it.
Oh, that's
which
awesome.
was a little tense because she wasn't thrilled. But she was respectful. Like, she was supportive but not thrilled.
Oh, well, okay.
This is about her and Courtney Love.
Oh, yeah. No, I can understand that. Interesting. Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie Goodman, calling in from New Orleans, Louisiana. And a fun fact about me is that I am currently writing my capstone, which is like a short thesis for my master's in museum studies at Harvard Extension School.
Oh, that's awesome. Woo! That's amazing. So museum studies, what is museum studies? Like, what does that entail?
So what I would like to do, because I'm, as people who've listened to other TW shows may know, I'm a pediatric psych nurse, which I love, but it comes with a very high burnout rate. So I figured I should go ahead and get an education in something else that I love so that I can eventually have something to transition to. So what I would like to do with it is museum education, but it encompasses all aspects of museums, from creating exhibits to handling objects to creating education. Basically, if it happens in or around a museum, that's museum studies.
Oh, sweet. That's cool. Well, good luck with that. That sounds really exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I'm trudging away. I've got about 12 pages and my minimum is 60, so we're getting there. 12 good pages. I mean, I have 4, but
my chest just got tighter thinking about that much writing.
I was like, oh, right.
All right. And Ashley.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Gray. I live in Northern Virginia. I was in the Navy for 10 years, and now I'm not. And I guess a fun thing about me would be that I was an extra in We Are Marshall. And cool. I got to high-five Matthew McConaughey. It was fun.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I would also like to high-five Matthew McConaughey one day. I think that'd just be a fun thing to do. Like, high-five. Like, all right.
All right.
Ladies, this is the women's episode, so this is going to be trivia based around women's history and all things Women's History Month. And we're going to start with Warm It Up Chris, which I guess in this case would be Warm It Up Carmela.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
So what I have is I have a list of every woman who's won a Nobel Prize. There's been 57 of them. And I know for me personally, Nobel Prizes are a weakness. So I don't know if it's a weakness for everybody else, but I want to see how many of the women we can name on this list. So like I said, I have 57 spanning from the very, very beginning all the way up until 2020's awards. And Beth, we're going to start with you.
What year are you starting with?
I believe we're starting with 1903. Let me check real quick. Yep, 1903 all the way through 2020.
Okay, an oldie, Jane Addams.
Jane Addams is on the list. She won in 1931 for peace. Liz.
Gonna swipe the obvi with Curie.
Yep, she has two. She won in 1911 and 1903. The 1903 one was for physics, and the 1911 one was for chemistry. Ashley.
Let's go with the other obvious one. Since Marie Curie was taken, let's say Toni Morrison.
Toni Morrison is on the list. She won in 1993 for literature. Jackie.
Well, those were literally the only two I had written down. Let's see if Maya Angelou is on the list.
She is not on the list.
She should be.
I know, she really should be. And now she can't be.
Yeah, she can't be. But it's one that she should have won. Beth, back to you.
Barbara McClintock.
I believe I saw her name on here. Let's check. Yep, she won in 1983, Physiology and Medicine. Liz.
Doris Lessing.
Oh.
She won in 2007 for literature. Ashley.
Okay, this one might be kind of controversial based on what's going on now, but Aung San Suu Kyi. Am I saying that correctly? I apologize, everyone listening, for me butchering her name. I'm so sorry.
Do we know what her last name starts with? Because that'll help me with this list.
It's like
Aung San Suu Kyi.
Sushi, I think, it starts with a K.
Okay. Yeah, she's the currently deposed Prime Minister of Myanmar.
Yeah, there was a coup that just happened like last week or something.
Exactly. I think she is. I don't remember.
I think she did get the Nobel Prize when she was released from prison.
Yes, she definitely did. My friend wrote a play about her and in his series of plays about peace Nobelists.
Yes, she won in 1991 for peace. So I don't think they take those away from you, but we'll see what happens.
Beth, which one did you say? McClintock?
McClintock. Barbara McClintock.
What should she win for? I can look it up later.
Medicine and physiology. Okay. She was a geneticist.
Thank you.
All right, Jackie.
I can't remember if it was the Nobel or something else prestigious, but Malala Yousafzai.
Among the youngest, if not the youngest, but she won in 2014. She won the Peace Prize. So she is definitely on the list. Beth.
I'm thinking. I think I might have burned through my list. No, all I can think of was women that should have won the Nobel Prize.
That's a very long list.
It's a very long list. I'm tapping out. I can't think of any more.
All right. Liz?
Mother Teresa? Didn't she win for peace?
Yep, she won in 1979. She won the Peace Prize.
Oh, good one.
On the list.
Man, and that's my list. I did not remember her.
Ashley.
Do I get credit for describing someone? I can't think of can't think of names, but I'll describe her. She's like is like an African lady. She won it, I believe, in the late 80s or the 70s for peace. Her name starts with an M. I can't remember her name. It's I want to say Mathy or Mathai. I'm out of people to pick from. I remember her face. I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry.
Well, there's a Guatemalan lady on here, Rigoberta Menchú, who won for peace in 1992. I'm not quite sure which person you're describing, but I don't.
She's African.
There is 2004, one guy, Mathai, Maathai. Was that who you're talking about?
Was that 2004?
2004.
I thought it was like the 80s.
It might have been for work that she did in the 80s.
Maybe. Mathai, right? I think that's who I'm thinking of. But, if we go around again, that's it, guys. I don't have it.
Jackie, do you got one last one for me?
I don't. It's funny. I was saying the same thing. I wonder if I can describe her. She won for brokering the peace talks in Northern Ireland.
I can't remember her name either.
It's really, really bothering me because funnily enough, my grandfather actually owns her Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, my.
She ran into some financial troubles in the early 2000s, and so she was auctioning off her Nobel Peace Prize to raise some funds, and my grandfather won the auction. So it's literally sitting in my grandfather's house, and I cannot for the life of me think of her name.
Wow.
And it's really bothering me.
Well, there are two people on the list that won in 1976 as founders of the Northern Ireland Peace Movement. So it was Betty Williams and Mairead Maguire.
No, it was Betty Williams. It was Betty Williams.
Okay. So yes, but
That's
they both won in 1976. So we were able to describe a few. There are several more on this list. I encourage more.
Indira Gandhi didn't win, did she?
Don't know.
Don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, Indira Gandhi is not on the list. The most recent ones from last year that won, let's see here, Louise Gluck for literature, Andrea Ghez for physics, Jennifer Doudna for chemistry, and also for chemistry, Emmanuel Charpentier. I don't know exactly how to say it. It's French.
Charpentier?
Yeah, it looks kind of like carpenter, but not quite. Yeah. But I encourage everyone to come out and look at this list. There's a ton of names and a ton of people to look at what the work that they did. Maybe some people you've never heard of. All right. So today's game is going to be Beth and Liz versus Ashley and Jackie. And we're going to get started with round one. So your first category in round one is simply the best because I'm every natural woman running up that hill. The 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees have been announced. Among them are Tina Turner, Carole King, Kate Bush, Chaka Khan, and this 5-time Grammy Award winner, Twitter sensation, and cousin to last year's inductee, Whitney Houston.
I think we can lock in.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ashley and Jackie, you can read out loud. Oh, yep. I can absolutely read the question again. The 2021 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees have been announced. Among them are Tina Turner, Carole King, Kate Bush, Chaka Khan, and this 5-time Grammy Award winner, Twitter sensation, and cousin to last year's inductee, Whitney Houston. And the other team is locked in, so you guys can talk out loud on the call.
I got nothing, Ashley.
So she's Whitney Houston's cousin, and she's a Twitter sensation. Oh, I'm thinking, I love the nightlife. I love the boogie.
Oh,
on a disco. I can't do it.
You're right. You're right. Who is
she's Whitney Houston's cousin. She looks just like her.
Mm-hmm. It's not Gloria Gaynor. It's
I love the nightlife.
I know exactly who you're talking about. If we can stick with the whole describing people as answers thing for the rest of the game, Ashley and I have got
a lot more comfortable about it.
Dionne Warwick.
Yeah, I think. Is that right?
I don't know. I think so. She's like the disco queen.
That works for me.
Am I going to embarrass myself on podcast? I'm so embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. You're doing great.
The microphone really does take away 10 IQ points. It's not a lie.
At least.
That seems.
I think it's her.
It's as good a guess as.
Think of cousins of Whitney Houston. I'm thinking. I know. I think she is Whitney Houston's cousin, dude.
Okay.
They look just alike.
They do look very similar. So.
Am I going to embarrass myself? I am going to be so...
Well, it's better than me not having a freaking clue. I'll tell you, my first instinct was Cicely Tyson, and I'm like, she's not a singer. And I don't think she's actually related to Whitney Houston. So we can go with Dionne Warwick. I'm totally cool with that, Ashley.
Why not? Lock it in.
Let's do it.
Beth and Liz, what do you got?
Yeah, for me, it was Twitter sensation because Dionne Warwick has been, I think, everyone's Twitter auntie, just tearing it up lately.
Yeah, she's been typing in a lot of characters lately.
So, yeah, we locked in with Dionne Warwick as well.
Yeah, so she did, like I say, a little prayer for you. If you don't follow her on Twitter, go follow her on Twitter because she's great. But the answer I'm looking for is Dionne Warwick.
Awesome, Ashley. Awesome.
It's gotta
That
believe.
was so hard.
I didn't even know she was on Twitter.
It's
I have
so
to go
funny.
find her.
Because
It's kind of recent. She's learning about Twitter.
Yeah,
very publicly.
It's kind of funny, Ashley. You got the right answer with the wrong song. I don't think she sang that song.
Really?
Song out.
Donna Summer. That is who it is. That is exactly who it is. That's why when she said Dionne Warwick, I'm like, I don't think that's the song, but that answer sounds good.
I cannot tell you, Ashley, the number of times that I have embarrassed myself on this show. It's perfectly fine. Don't even worry about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There. That's all that matters.
There's no embarrassment in a right answer, first of all.
Yeah, also
that is
points are
so
points, man. Also, fun fact, if Carole King and Tina Turner are inducted again this year, then they will be the second and third women to be inducted into the Hall of Fame twice after Stevie Nicks did it in 2019. So I thought that was fun too.
Very cool.
Your next category is Who Run the Island? Animal Crossing New Horizons was released in March 2020 and has been a critical and financial success for Nintendo, due in no small part to the pandemic and more people staying inside, which you should be staying inside. It sold over 31 million copies, making it the second highest selling Switch game of all time. Among the residents on a player's island is a bubbly yellow Shih Tzu who works in resident services. What is her name?
Okay, we're locked in.
All right. Elizabeth, you can talk out loud.
So here's the problem, Beth. I'm a Stardew Valley girl. I have no idea.
Yeah,
A bubbly
either.
yellow Shih Tzu.
Yeah.
So let's make something up.
Sally Shih Tzu.
Sally Shih Tzu. Champagne Shih Tzu.
Yes, exactly.
She's bubbly.
She's bubbly. There you go. Champagne Shih Tzu. That works for me.
Okay, we're going to lock in with champagne.
All right.
Champagne Shih Tzu.
Okay. Ashley and Jackie, what do you have?
So I knew this one from all the GIFs and the things on Instagram I see of her like dancing and to like random songs. This one, her name is Isabel.
All right. So Animal Crossing, I've also played Stardew Valley, but I have played Animal Crossing New Horizons literally every day since March 20th, which is when it came out. And I've never played a game literally every day for that long before. I'm redoing my island for like the fourth time.
Would you like to hear my gaming experience?
Sure.
Zelda.
Zelda? Okay.
That's it.
Zelda's a good one to do.
My one and only.
But the answer I'm looking for here is Isabel. Isabel first appeared in Animal Crossing New Leaf, which was the last Animal Crossing game. You can also play her in Smash Brothers. She's a fun character to play on that. And her character design is really funny. The currency in that game, they're called bells. And you give them, they have little bell bags. Actually, I can show you what a bell bag looks like. Hang on. Because I made one. So this is what a bell bag looks like. It's a little yellow bag.
How cute.
And with a red ribbon on it. And if you look at her head, it looks like a yellow bag with a ribbon on it. And her name literally is a bell. So
I just made that connection just now. Oh my gosh. Put that one on foreplay. You won't.
But Animal Crossing has been great. It's been great for me. It really has.
Apparently, I need to get in on this because Ashley carried us again because I've never played.
Your last category in the round is box office sirens. Here's a sentence I never thought I'd say. I miss movie theaters. 2020 still saw the release of quite a few movies, and according to thenumbers.com, what was the highest grossing movie in the domestic box office that was released in 2020 with a cast primarily led by women?
So released in 2020, not just in theaters in 2020?
Correct. Released in 2020.
Beth, are you good to lock in with that?
I am.
Yeah, we can lock in.
Okay.
So, Ashley, I was thinking Girls Trip, but I now am almost positive that came out before 2020. You just messaged me Wonder Woman 84, and I think that's probably a great answer. But that came out before January, right?
Yeah, that did come out before January.
Time has no meaning right now.
I'm pretty sure it did come out before January. As you all know, I've been wrong before. I'm trying to think of something else that came out last year that was like really popular.
Yeah, everything that was. I feel like everything that was super popular last year was Netflix and Hulu. which wouldn't have box office grosses.
Right.
So I think Wonder Woman's as good an answer as I can think of.
I think we should just go with it. I can't think of anything else.
All right, let's do it. Locking in with Wonder Woman 84.
Liz and Beth?
So the movie we went with, I remember it came out just a little more than a year ago because I felt that it should have come out exactly a year ago and been marketed as an anti-Valentine's Day movie. Or really marketed just more than it was. Because we went with Birds of Prey, which was a fantastic movie that I'm so glad I saw in the theaters.
So the movie I'm looking for here is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. It did come out last February, and it was the last movie I saw in the theater, and I saw it for Valentine's Day. So
Did you?
I did watch it for Valentine's Day. I love that movie. I thought it was
so freaking good.
But yeah, it grossed, let's see here, according to the numbers, it grossed over $84 million in the domestic box office.
Wow.
Wonder Woman 84 came out in December, so it didn't have as much time. And also movie theaters were essentially decimated by the pandemic. But it made over $40 million in the domestic box office in 2020. So,
and what was the criteria you listed? A majority female cast?
Yeah, a cast primarily led by women.
I don't think it would have fit the bill. I just thought of a movie that.
Yeah, I think it's arguable. I feel like of the 4 leads in Wonder Woman 84, it was like half women. It just depends.
Yeah.
I mean,
also you said the siren thing, and I felt like tipped me towards.
Yeah, that it's supposed to tip towards Gotham City Sirens, which would be Harley Quinn.
Black Canary being in there.
Right. Well, I mean, for Birds of Prey, it's 5 women that lead the cast versus
it's just
4
very
in
clearly.
men. Yeah.
You don't have to think about it with Birds of Prey.
But yeah, Birds of Prey is what I'm looking for here. So after the first round, it is a tie game. Everyone has 20 points.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So let's move into round 2. All right, your first category in round 2 is graceful programming. This influential computer scientist, mathematician, and naval officer was originally rejected from enlisting in the United States Navy in World War II because she was too old at age 34, considered underweight based on the enlistment standard, and had a position considered too important to leave as a mathematics professor at Vassar College. Her work in the 1950s in designing the programming language Flowmatic helped shape the development of COBOL, C-O-B-O-L, a programming language still used by businesses across the world today. Who am I talking about?
We're locked in.
This is Katherine Johnson, right? Do I have
thank God. No.
When it's a name like Johnson, I'm always like, is it Johnson or is it something just very similar? I always.
It's a familiar last name, but I don't think it's Johnson. I don't think it's Katherine Johnson, but I don't have anything else. So
as soon as I said it, I was like, wait, that's wrong. That's really close, but it's wrong.
No, I can even see her picture. See, I was thinking it was something like Hamilton, Walker. Wait a minute. I got it.
I'm all ears.
Grace Hopper. The graceful.
Lovely.
It was the graceful intro that she had.
Lovely.
That's the only way I came up with it.
I'm on board.
Okay.
We're locked in with Grace Hopper.
Ashley and Jackie, what do you have for me?
So I had this immediately. As soon as you started saying naval officer and computer science, computer programmer and COBOL, I was like, Grace Hopper. And it's funny because our last navigator came from USS Hopper, which is stationed at a Hickam in Pearl Harbor. So, I mean, it's before you even finished the question, I was like, let's lock it in.
No.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Leave it to Carmela to ask the Navy person a Navy question. So, yeah, we locked in with Grace Hopper.
I'm looking for Rear Admiral Grace Hopper. She got a leave of absence from Vassar in order to and a waiver because she was 15 pounds underweight for the enlistment standard, so she could serve in the United States Navy Reserve, and she retired as a commander, and then she went active duty where she eventually retired as a Rear Admiral. But yeah, I mean, all sorts of places use COBOL language still. I mean, it's been around for 60 years now. So your next category is ceremonials. What monotheistic Eastern religion sees girls born into the faith named according to this custom. So how do these girls get their names? The Guru Granth Sahib, the central religious text, is opened to a random page, and the first letter on the top left corner of the left page is the basis for her first name, and she is given the surname of Kaur, Kaur.
Carmela, what did you say? I'm sure you didn't name the text, but could you? They turn to.
So the name of the text is the Guru Granth Sahib.
Ashley and I are locked in.
Okay.
Okay, so Beth, you were thinking Sikhism, which is one of the first things I thought. The first time I heard it, I hadn't realized that Guru Granth Sahib was the name of the central text, which definitely changes it. Like, we know it's not Hinduism. I'm pretty sure with Hare Krishna, like, the name of the central text has Hare or Krishna in it. I don't think it's Zoroastrianism, honestly, just because there was just a Zoroastrianism question on the show. I know that was recorded a while ago. I don't know when that was recorded, but it was aired.
I just feel like I just heard about that, so yeah. I'm disinclined to choose that.
Only reason I'm pausing is because I used to teach so many Sikh students back when I was an SAT tutor, and I don't remember seeing that surname on any attendance sheets, but maybe like in America, like that's not a legal surname.
It's all I got. I mean, I pulled that out from the nether regions, so I have nothing else to contribute.
I mean, we both went there. Like it's not Hinduism. I don't think it's Hare Krishna. I could be wrong. Let's go Sikhism. So Sikh, Sikh.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Ashley and Jackie?
We had a very similar discussion, and we also ended up locking in with Sikhism. We know that it's, or at least we think we know it's monotheistic, and I remember the girls having a different last name traditionally than the boys, so that's where we went, and hopefully we all went in the right direction.
It's funny that you talked about Zoroastrianism, because the last game I hosted that's the question I asked was Zoroastrianism. But yes, the boys have a last name of Singh, the girls have Kaur. This is Sikhism.
Woohoo!
That's the thing. I had so many students with the last name Singh, and like we talked a little bit about, like, because I had a lot of students who were not Sikh, and like they like talked about it, and who had like, it was kind of mixed, and sometimes they had questions for each other, like, like, why do you wear your hair like that? And they were like close enough that they like would talk about that stuff. So like I knew for a fact that they were Sikh, and so I don't know a lot. I'm not about it, but like, so I was surprised that I didn't recognize that surname at all. But I suspect, and now, I'll look into it. I suspect that like in America, the families adopt the same surname, for legal purposes. And so on my attendance sheet, like it's going to be Singh and Singh rather than Singh and Kaur or whatever. Yeah. So that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yep. All right. Your last category in the round is Folk Lady. This 4-time Grammy-winning and 6-time Juno Award-winning country and folk singer came out publicly as a lesbian in a June 1992 article in The Advocate, and has been an advocate herself for both AIDS and HIV research and animal rights. Who is she?
I think we can lock in. Yep.
Any thoughts, Ashley? So somebody who would have been relevant and popular enough in 92 to merit coming out in a major magazine.
Okay, so she won the Juno Award 6 times.
What's the Juno Award? Yeah, 6-time Juno, 4-time Grammy, but I can't remember what the Juno Award is awarded for.
I have no clue.
It's somebody who was a country and folk singer that was relevant in the early 90s, when I was definitely not listening to country and folk.
I have nothing. I've got a big nothing burger, because I do not listen to country, and I mean, not that I don't like it. Everybody, please don't come attack me after the show. But I mean, I like it. I just don't know. I'm not deep in it enough to know who the people are. I have no idea. I cannot help. I cannot help here.
Wait,
shame on me.
What was the category name?
Folk Lady.
Oh, that's not helpful at all.
Do you think of a song? Is that an allusion to a song? Maybe
that's what
a
I'm
song called Folk Lady. I don't know.
I mean, Sarah McLachlan just popped into my head, but I don't know why. I'm not even certain that she...
I don't think she's a lesbian.
I was about to say, I don't know what her sexual orientation is. I mean, do we want to throw a name out there, or do we want to tap?
Knowing that we know Sarah McLachlan is the wrong answer and not having another answer, do you want to just go with it? I mean,
Sure.
I don't know what else to say. I have a
I don't
big
know
bag
why
of nuts
Sarah...
over here.
Yeah, same here. I don't know why Sarah McLachlan popped into my head, but she did. So we'll put her name out there and see what happens.
Disclaimer: we know that this is not it. But
Yeah.
this is what we got. So we're going. Let's lock that in.
Locking in our wrong answer of Sarah McLachlan.
Beth and Liz?
Well, Liz is a much faster typer than I am, but we came up with it pretty quickly. And Juno was a hint. The Juno Award. The Juno Awards are Canadian, and the singer is Katie Lang.
Yeah, so a folk and country singer coming out in the early 90s would point you primarily to two people, Melissa Etheridge and Katie Lang. But Katie Lang is Canadian, and the Juno Awards are, for people who don't know, they're kind of like the Canadian Grammys. They're kind of equivalent. So I'm looking for Katie Lang here. So Beth and Liz did get that one.
Yay!
Congrats.
Like I said, Liz is lightning with her typing. It's like, okay, I'm still unlocking my phone, and and the answer pops up.
My first awareness of Katie Lang was her coming out.
Yeah.
But Melissa Etheridge, I didn't even think of. I forgot that there must have been a time where she was not out.
Melissa Etheridge came out publicly at one of the inaugural balls for Clinton's first term. That's when she came out. So
Katie Lang maybe came out first, actually.
Katie Lang came out first. But I have more exposure to Melissa Etheridge when I was younger than I did Katie Lang. I didn't really get into Katie Lang until I was older. Both of their music is great. You should listen to it. After the second round, Beth and Liz have 50 and Ashley and Jackie have 40. So it's still a real tight game. Let's get into round 3. Your first category in round 3 is Eldritch Television. Journey Smollett had a successful 2020. Not only did she star in Birds of Prey as Dinah Lance, but she also starred in what television series based on a novel of the same name as Letitia Lewis?
Is it, if I have your permission, Beth?
Yeah.
That's a thumbs up.
All right.
Like I said, she can type so much faster than I can.
So they're locked in. Ashley and Jackie, you can talk out loud. I think Ashley's muted.
I could not find my mouse. So I'm like over here like, I'm sorry about all the facial expressions. I remember this because I was really excited about this show, and I'm going to be super embarrassed if this is the wrong show. That's Lovecraft Country, right?
It has to. Okay, Eldritch is definitely pointing to Lovecraft. So yes, let's lock in with Lovecraft Country. I remember hearing that it was going to come out, and I don't know anything else about it.
Yeah, it's on HBO. It's great. You need to watch. But yeah, I think we should go with that. I could not find my mouse because I wanted to type it over to you, and I'm just like, like, the mouse is like floating around on the screen somewhere, and I was just like, where is the pointer? But yeah, I'm glad you guys locked in, so you made it easy for me to just unmute instead.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's go for it. All right,
Liz and Beth.
Yeah. So basically, off the category name, we two put Lovecraft Country.
I haven't seen the show yet. I recently...
Me either, because HBO Go disappeared right as it was...
Yeah, I have an HBO Max account now, and I'm like, I can finally watch the show. But I read the book last year. My partner read it like soon after it came out, and he's like, you have to read this book. And I finally got around to it. I am looking for Lovecraft Country. So if you haven't read the book, I do recommend it. Your second category in the round is bird songs. Written by Rachel Carson and published in 1962, what book was influential to the environmental movement and led to the eventual ban in the U.S. of the pesticide DDT?
We're locked in.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
The answer is Silent Spring.
Okay. Liz and Beth?
Yep. Answer Silent Spring.
We probably could have 3-2-1 that one.
We could have 3-2-1.
I didn't even think about that.
That's fine. We'll pretend it was a 3-2-1. Yep, it is Silent Spring.
Woo!
So it was the effects, especially of DDT, on the environment, and Silent Spring is because the birds were dying off. So everyone got that one right. Great job. Your last category before the midpoint is in proto-suffragette. This year saw the inauguration of the first woman to hold the office of VP in the United States. Kamala Harris also had run a campaign for president prior to accepting her nomination as Joe Biden's VP. Who was the first woman on record to be nominated as a candidate for the office of president during the 1872 campaign, almost 50 years before women were given the right to vote by the 19th Amendment?
We're locked in.
Okay. So Ashley and Jackie can talk out loud.
I know I've read this in articles about Kamala Harris, and I cannot think of her name.
There we go. I just typed over what I was thinking to you, and I'm pretty sure it was Victoria Woodhull.
That sounds familiar. I know she was definitely a candidate for something. So I'm pretty sure it was president, and I know it was before 1900. This is I think 8th grade social studies or something, and it was a big deal. I remember it being a big deal, but I can see all the articles I've read that have talked about her and not her name. So yeah, I'm happy to go with that.
Let's go with it.
Let's do it.
All right, Beth and Liz?
Yeah, Victoria Woodhull was an awesome free love advocating weirdo, ran for president, announced that Frederick Douglass was her running mate, and he was like, I don't know her. Be skeptical of any account that was yeah, and she ran with Frederick Douglass as her running mate. He did not agree to that. She just said that. But yes, Woodhull.
Yeah, I was going to say that, she picked Frederick Douglass for the running mate, and he was cool, didn't participate in the campaign at all, and was just okay. But yeah, I'm looking for Victoria Woodhull here. So both teams got it right.
Woohoo!
We love her, warts and all.
We love her, yes.
That's awesome. I mean, that takes some serious chutzpah. Just be you're my running mate. Random
that
guy
she had.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Victoria Woodhull.
You don't get what you don't ask for. So
That's
just
true.
go forth and grab it.
That's what my mother says.
Definitely falls into first wave feminism, which I don't particularly like to talk about, but, she was important in her own right. So before the midpoint, our score check is 80 for Beth and Liz and 70 for Ashley and Jackie. Still a super tight game. All right. So your midpoint question is in obligatory sports question.
Oh, God.
There have been some talks about who the greatest of all time is recently. And while I do not want to take away the accomplishments of a certain quarterback, I want you to give me the names of the athletes with these accomplishments. So I'm going to give you 4 accomplishments, and you're going to give me the athlete that matches them. So your first one is the most decorated American gymnast with 30 medals, 27 of them gold. So your second one, the fastest woman of all time, setting world records for the 100-meter and 200-meter dashes in 1988, and that record still stands today. Your third one, the swimmer who is the most decorated Paralympian with 55 medals, including 41 gold. And your last one holds the most combined Grand Slam titles in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles of any active player with 39.
If you're good, I'm good, Beth.
Yeah, I'm guessing. So this is as good as it's going to get.
Yeah. On the one that you just suggested, I have nothing to contribute.
Okay.
So I'm very happy with your answer on that one. So I think we are locked in.
All right.
Well, we're pretty confident on 3 of them except for number 3. I regret to say that I don't know much about the Paralympics. I wish I did. That's something that I wish I paid more attention to. Those some really brave people that go out there and demonstrate their abilities. And it's something I just never watched. I just never watched it. So I'm going to make a personal change to start learning a little bit more about that. But I do not have any thunder on the third one. We're pretty confident on Simone Biles. We are pretty confident on FloJo. There's reference in many songs. She's a big part of the female athlete culture, Florence Joyner. But we wanted to go with FloJo on that one. And the last one, you said doubles. So at first we were just like, is that Serena? No. And then she does doubles, right? But the most wins, I was pretty sure. And Jacqueline, if we get this wrong, this is my fault because I actually I was like more, I think I was a little bit more forceful in my suggested answer. So again, I take the full blame for number 4, going on record. But we said Martina Navratilova for number 4. Do you have anything come to mind for number 3, Jackie? I
don't know. And like you said so eloquently, I wish I knew because she sounds like a true badass. And I feel like I should know her and I don't. So in honor of our lovely first lady of TW, we'll just go with Smith for number 3. And you definitely had more thunder on Navratilova, and you've definitely carried me on a couple of the first questions. So there's no blame at all if it's wrong.
I just remember as a kid on Sundays, the only thing that would be on TV was tennis and golf. And I used to watch Martina Navratilova all the time. Yeah, I remember it's a big deal when she got like more than 30 titles on her belt. And she was like, to this day, she's one of the greatest female tennis players of all time. And I'm pretty sure it's her. If it's Serena, I'm sorry. But I'm pretty sure it's Martina Navratilova. But yeah, let's go with those 3.
That's what we're locking in.
Yeah.
And look at it this way. If it's Serena, she still gets to be Serena as a consolation prize.
There you go.
Yes.
Have you seen her karaoke den?
What?
No, I haven't.
She has her private karaoke den. There are photos. It looks amazing. And she has a wine cellar that is apparently the size of a small New York apartment, which sounds a little small, honestly.
I mean, that could be a closet, like a literal closet.
Yeah.
All right. Liz and Beth, what do you have for me?
Oh, dear. Liz.
Well, we also said Simone Biles. Yeah, one of the goats of the goats, as the memes have been saying. The greatest of all time, of the greatest of all time. So many moves that have been outlawed because no one else can do them. We talked about FloJo, but went with Jackie Joyner-Kersee. For number 3, this was all Beth.
Well, I had 2 possibilities, and I think I went with the wrong one because I get them confused. I went with Ellie Simmons, but she's British. But I think there's an American swimmer, Jessica Long. But I put Ellie Simmons down.
Okay.
Which I can't wait to look at both of them. They sound awesome. I contributed nothing, and then we did go with Serena.
So your answers are the most decorated American gymnast with 30 medals, 27 of them being gold, is Simone Biles. She's like 2 medals behind. I can't remember which gymnast, but among some European gymnasts. That's why I specifically called out American there. But Simone Biles, fastest woman of all time, setting world records in the 100-meter and 200-meter dashes in the late 80s. That is FloJo, Florence Griffith Joyner. This swimmer, I put this in here, one, just because I found it completely fascinating and I think it's awesome. On the outside chance that maybe somebody knew. The person I'm looking for is actually a blind swimmer named Trisha Zorn.
Oh, I don't know.
So among every Paralympian athlete that's ever been, she is the most decorated one. She has 55 medals and 41 of them are gold medals. So completely cool. For the last one, for the tennis title, Marina Navratilova does have a ton of titles, but I did say among active players, and Serena Williams has 39 titles, and she is still an active player. So Serena's who I was looking for there.
Oh, well, I feel good that there was no way I was going to get that swimmer.
I missed the active part.
Here I was.
Yeah, I did too. It's all good.
And it was neither one of them. So there you go.
But I encourage you to look up Trisha Zorn. I think she's awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think both teams got 2?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's 10 each. So after the midpoint, Beth and Liz have their 10-point lead with it's 90-80. Let's get into round 4. Your first category is running things. This head of state recently began her second term. When she took office in October 2017, she became the world's youngest female head of state at age 37. And her first term saw both a rare mass shooting in her country and the handling of a global pandemic. Who am I talking about?
Don't know her name. I can pick her out of a lineup. Okay, good.
Yeah, we're locked in. I mean, if I'm right. I know her name.
Yeah, if you had a panel of pictures, I could pick her out, but I don't know her name.
When we get into visual podcasting one day. All right, Jackie and Ashley, you can talk out loud.
This young lady, and here I go again mixing up people, but I'm pretty sure she was the one that responded to some of her older colleagues with "Okay, Boomer." Is that the lady I'm thinking of? She's the Prime Minister of New Zealand. It's Jacinda Ardern, right?
That sounds right. It's definitely the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and I cannot remember her name, but that sounds very familiar. So we can lock in with Jacinda Ardern. But yes, it's definitely her.
Yeah, I remember I was kind of impressed that she's slightly older than I am, and she's leading an entire country. But if I'm not confusing what her kickback was to her older colleague, I'm pretty sure that was her. So we're going to lock in Jacinda Ardern.
Let's do it.
All right, Liz and Beth.
Yeah, and she gave birth in office, I think, in her first term, and just kept running the country. And we all wish she were our head of state. We too locked in with Ardern.
All right.
Ardern. It's hard to say that second R.
It is hard to say.
I don't know if they say, and they probably don't say the first R.
Does anyone have a good New Zealand accent? I can't.
No.
Please don't put that on the recording.
No.
The OK Boomer thing, it did happen in New Zealand. It was not Jacinda Ardern. It was another MP named Chloe Swarbrick. 25.
Of course, it's someone else.
But it's the same
got
country.
you there. So, it doesn't matter. It got you there.
The answer I'm looking for is Jacinda Ardern. She did give birth in office. I think there was a question that I had asked years ago around the time that she was pregnant, because that's how long we've been doing this show. And she was only the second head of state to give birth in office. I think the first one was Benazir Bhutto, 30 years ago. So, yeah, Jacinda Ardern is who I'm looking for here. So both teams got it. You guys are doing great.
Actually, your synapses just fired too quickly. You can't, you don't even know all the connections you're making. It's too fast to report.
Right? I can't believe all these wrong references are getting.
But it gets you there. That's all that matters.
Exactly. A right answer is a right answer, no matter how you got there.
You're playing 12-dimensional chess.
Points are points. Your next category is topping the sales charts. Despite her last album being released in 2016 and her upcoming album being put on hold indefinitely, this recording artist is the woman with the highest number of album sales in the last 100 years, selling over 198 million RIAA certified units.
Liz, we could just put these on a roulette wheel and spin and pick one.
Yeah, Ashley, got a coin handy?
We have some very different people on our list.
It's a schizophrenic list, I tell you.
All wonderful people. They should all hang out.
Yeah.
Be the best dinner party ever. Don't have dinner parties right now.
I have some leftover Hanukkah gelt I could flip.
There you go. Flip that coin. All right, Liz. Okay.
Are you comfortable with that?
Liz, to me, we're in a no-win situation. So.
Okay, so the gelt has chosen.
Yeah. Right. So
we are locked in.
All right, that frees Ashley up and Jackie to talk.
Okay, so we're typing each other.
Okay.
Wait, all right, so I'll just summarize, and Jackie, please, please, Jackie.
Now you're just throwing out names here, Ashley. Oh.
So Jackie initially said Madonna. I agree that Madonna had a lot of album sales, but I think Madonna released something after 2016. I could be completely wrong. Again, you know how my brain works. I thought it was Beyonce, and the reason why I thought that was because I thought Lemonade came out in 2016, but maybe it didn't. I equate when I hear songs to when I was on what ship. So I think it was after 2016 when that came out. And then she had another album come out when I was on The Kid, and I got to The Kid in February 17. So I originally said Beyonce. I don't think it's Beyonce.
And then I was also wondering if that video album that came out counts as an album, which I don't know if it does or doesn't. I feel like I remember hearing something on the radio about, even though like nobody can remember the last time Madonna had an album, she still is one of the top selling artists of all time. But I know that there's some statistic where she's had chart topping albums in like every decade, like 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. Or I could be thinking of Cher. And then you pop out of nowhere with Shania Twain.
No, the reason why I said Shania Twain, and this came out of nowhere because Carmela said, despite the fact that she didn't have an album since 2016, she's still number one. And I immediately thought Still the One. And I was just like, oh my God, Shania Twain. So that's why I thought that. I know you're just like, what? I mean, that was like a weird connection. But I'm trying to think, when's the last time Shania Twain had an album? Not recently, right?
No, it wasn't recent.
But probably less recent than Beyonce and Madonna. I don't know. Do you want to just go with Madonna?
Yeah, let's
because I might be reading too much into what Carmela said about still number one. I feel like I might be reading too much into that.
I mean, that's a great song. I say we just guess Madonna with the very small thunderclap that I have and see what happens.
Yeah, let's go with Madonna. Let's do it.
All right, tentatively locking in Madonna.
All right.
Or not tentatively.
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly. Thank you. Yes, reluctantly locking in Madonna.
Elizabeth?
Well, Madonna's a great answer. We didn't even think, we didn't mention anyone you mentioned. Everyone you mentioned was great. We talked about a lot of divas. We were all over the place. The first person I thought of was Mariah because of the Christmas song selling like crazy every year. But I don't know if that would count as an album. She didn't make it onto the coin for the flip. We talked about Whitney. We talked about a bunch of the coin flip. Heads was Dolly Parton and tails was Rihanna. And it came up heads. So we locked in with Dolly Parton. And that was our answer. The end.
All right.
It was just a guess.
Yeah.
Well,
I have no idea who recorded in 2016, and I have no idea who recently postponed an album indefinitely. So there you have it.
So I do have to make a quick correction. It doesn't change the question at all. This is still the number one person. I said 198 million. It's 298 million.
Oh, that changes everything.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
Well, in that case,
298 million RIAA certified units. The name was said. Amongst both deliberations, the name was said. This person has been doing a lot of other stuff, like they have a makeup line and a lingerie line, and we all want her to start on her next album.
Oh, no, don't, please.
But I'm looking for Rihanna.
I had
This is
zero thunder.
Oh.
I came up with a name, but I had zero number. Blame the guilt.
Oh,
Rihanna didn't even come
man.
up to us.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think of Rihanna
Either.
Well, I didn't think of Madonna. I didn't think of Beyonce.
Madonna was a great answer.
We had a zillion divas on our list, and we were just kind of whacking them off there.
Madonna's up there. She's number 2 behind Rihanna. She has 178.9 million RIAA certified. Look, RIAA, I understand that you are attached to your initialism, but it's really hard to say.
Seriously, Rihanna sold more than Madonna, Beyonce, all those other people we mentioned.
Well, if we're going by certified sales, which is what the RIAA has actually certified as being sold. Now, if we go by claimed sales in quotation marks, Madonna is in like the 300 million mark.
Well, I say we go with that one then.
I think we give us like 7 points for getting number 2.
Yeah, I agree. Partial credit.
Plus 7 points for having Rihanna as our second choice.
There you go.
Okay, that's fair.
Partial credit all around. We're just going to mark it as 0 just for bookkeeping purposes.
This is a matriarchy. You should have ranked choice.
Yes.
And put a list more.
We're going to do ranked voting from now on,
Until I feel better.
Your last category in the round is cosmic influence. Vera Rubin was an American astronomer who passed away in late 2016 and is the first woman to have a large observatory named in her honor. She provided strong evidence in the 1960s and 70s of what material by observing galaxy rotation curves.
I can guess.
We're locked in.
All right.
That's my best guess, Liz.
Carmela, you said of what material?
Mm-hmm.
I guess by not being a hard scientist, being thrown off by material, but so gravitational waves, you're thinking? Is that a material?
I don't know.
I don't know why it wouldn't be. I guess, is dark matter a real thing, or is that something I heard in sci-fi somewhere?
No, it's a thing. But I don't. Those are the only two answers I can come up with. So, Danny, you need to bring out the Gelt coin and flip it.
Well, I don't trust. I ate the Gelt coin
as penance.
Yeah. Well, I ate it before I found out it was wrong. I just wanted the chocolate. But yeah, I wouldn't trust it if it were still here. I mean, you went right to gravitational wave. It just is a wave a material, or is it a phenomenon? I guess a particle is a material, and a wave is a.
The wave is a thing, but dark matter is a thing. So I don't know. Like I said, get out the Gelt coin.
I have some Gelt wrappers because I'm a slob. Oh wait, I found another Gelt coin.
No, I knew you had to have some there.
This is a Gelt franc, a Swiss franc. I was given some international Gelt. Okay, so you choose which is head and tails this time.
All right.
Myself.
All right. Head is gravitational waves and tails is dark matter.
Again, suddenly I can't even do
Put
anything.
it on your thumb.
That was a bad one. I have D&D dice here, too. I could just make this a lot simpler. There. No, that didn't flip. Here we go. That was a flip. Heads.
There you go.
Gravitational waves.
Don't eat it until you know whether it was correct or not, because it might be lucky.
Yeah. Smart.
So far, it hasn't.
We are locked in with gravitational waves.
Ashley and Jackie.
We went with dark matter because I remember that what they were observing was that there was like all this suspended matter spinning, like revolving around each other, but not like flying away. So there had to have been some sort of mass, something with mass holding them together. And that was observed to be dark matter. So we went with dark matter.
Yeah, the answer I'm looking for here is dark matter. And for very much the reason that Ashley said, that the way the galaxies rotated was not explained by the observable matter that they could see. So they theorized dark matter, and as they kept observing, then they were able to write that theory that dark matter does exist and is actually more plentiful than regular observable matter.
Okay, so, Liz, we officially need to set aside the Gelt.
I mean, I guess properly, or should have saved it and just always done the opposite of what it told us.
There you go. We could switch that methodology. I need to throw my scraps away.
And the observatory that's named after Vera Rubin is the National Science Foundation Vera C. Rubin Observatory, and it's located in Chile. So it's very cool. All right, after the fourth round, it is a tie game, 100-100. And so we're going to get into round 5. Your first category is Healing Through Art. Judith slaying Holofernes is a famous painting from the Italian Baroque era and was one of 6 paintings done by this artist with Judith as a subject. Some artists view the depictions of Judith as a form of self-portrait, as they believe that the artist felt that there was a parallel in Judith's story and her own. Who is this Baroque painter?
Locked in with your permission, Beth.
Yep.
Once again, Ashley saving the day by remembering a name that I could not, for the life of me, remember. So I'm going to let her lock it in.
So the reason why I know this, so I have my boyfriend is an art major, and he graduated from VCU. Shout out to VCU, everybody listening that went there. And I feel like I would be doing him a dishonor if I did not know this. So I'm probably going to butcher the name. Does getting close to saying the name correct count?
If I understand what you're saying, then yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure
it's not an easy name.
I'm pretty sure this painting, sometimes they call it Judith beheading Holofernes, and it is Gentileschi. Gentileschi? Are you looking at you? That looks like you. That's like a look of disapproval. I'm scared.
Don't be scared. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm asking you, is that your answer?
I think that's how I would pronounce it, Ashley. So let's go with it.
We're going to go with it. That's what we're going with.
Sure.
Okay.
Beth and Liz? Probably Liz for that particular duo with the answer.
I think we both had it. Again,
Okay.
I am a fast typer, so
Yeah.
I had the last name in. You typed the first name. But,
I was telling her I literally read a short story about her this week. So.
Yeah, and this was at one point my Facebook profile photo. I feel like every feminist trivia nerd at one point loves Artemisia. I don't know if it's Gentileschi or Gentileschi, or I do not know Italian pronunciations at all. But yeah, that's what we put.
I would say Gentileschi. That the SCH in Italian kind of sounds like a K, but I would take Gentileschi. But it's Artemisia Gentileschi. Absolutely.
Yay!
But yeah, she did 6 paintings with Judith as a subject, including 2 versions of this painting. Trigger warning for assault for anyone who's listening. If you don't want to listen to that, you can skip forward maybe about 30 seconds. So Artemisia had been assaulted by her father's colleague when she was 17. Her father ended up suing the guy for basically taking his daughter's virginity. Not that he assaulted her, that he took her virginity. So there was a whole big trial and case, and she, was a very talented painter, and she went on and she had a really long career. She had patronage by the House of Medici, a huge financial family in Italy, and Judith had a similar kind of storyline, and in the slaying of Holofernes, Judith is actually killing the person that assaulted her. So that's why our historians like to categorize them as kind of self-portraits.
And was he not her mentor as a painter?
Yes, he was her mentor as well. Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, I agree. I think guy's awful. Your next category is standing up and being counted. Ida B. Wells was an investigative journalist, suffrage and civil rights advocate, and also an educator. She was also a co-founder of what organization in 1909 that is still active today and is headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland?
I think we're locked in.
Yep.
My goodness. I gotta figure out this whole mouse thing. You have to click it so that it appears, and then you have to move it around. Anyway, is this something that we're all comfortable 3-2-1-ing?
I'm okay with it.
As long as we're all right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be embarrassing if we said all different things?
I have heard that before. So.
Yeah. It has happened. Doesn't happen often, but it has happened. All right, we ready? 3, 2, 1.
NAACP.
Yes, this is the NAACP. So she's one of, I think there were, several founders, but she's definitely one of them. But if you've never read about Ida B. Wells, I'm sure the 4 of you have, but for anyone out there who has not read about Ida B. Wells, I definitely recommend looking into her story. She's awesome. All right, your last category in the round is Through Her Lens. Who is the film director who was the first Black woman to win the directing award at Sundance in 2012, went on to direct A Wrinkle of Time, Selma, and When They See Us, and was recently elected to the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Sciences Board of Governors?
I think maybe we can 3-2-1 this.
You guys want a 3-2-1?
I didn't get around to typing to my teammate, so let's confirm.
Just saw some nods.
Confirm first.
We don't have to. Sorry.
You're not required to 3-2-1 ever, but if you want to, you can.
Name, we should just say the name individually and audibly rather than. We're locked in.
We are also locked in. We got a head nod, so I think we can maybe 3-2-1 this one.
Do you want a 3-2-1?
Why not?
Okay, sure.
Will this set a record for the most 3-2-1s in one game?
I don't know what that record is, but 3 in one game would be a lot. Kind of don't know how to feel it, but at the same time, I feel pretty good about it because that means these are all people that you know.
Now I feel bad that we faked one of them.
And yeah.
All right, so we're going to 3-2-1 again. 3, 2, 1.
Ava DuVernay.
Yes, this is Ava DuVernay. Absolutely. All right, so points all around on that one. So both teams swept that round, which means that we are still tied at 130 and 130. So let's get into round 6.
Man, wagering's going to suck.
Yeah, wagering's going to be hard if we keep going on like this. But let's see what happens in the 6th round. Your category is Tales of Hubris. Ovid tells us the tale of Arachne, a young Lydian maiden who believed and boasted her talents so much, she challenged the goddess Athena to what kind of contest?
We're locked in.
Great, because I do want to talk this one out a little bit. Because it was immediately like, okay, definitely weaving. So she weaved too beautiful a tapestry. And I think pretty sure she won and Athena was pissed. You know, one of those things where like the worst thing you could do is beat a god at a contest. And because the penalty was she turned her into a spider. So I just had a brief second of like, so it was definitely weaving and not spinning, right?
I think so.
Because spinning's too mechanical. Like, it's weaving, right?
Yeah, I'm going with weaving.
Weaving. Locked in.
All right, Jackie and Ashley?
We had the same back and forth. I immediately said weaving, and then it was like, shoot, was it spinning? And Ashley was like, no, it's weaving. So we also locked in with weaving.
All right. Liz has the right of it. She made too beautiful of a tapestry. Athena was very mad and tore it to pieces. And at least in the version that I have, Arachne actually ended up hanging herself in shame, and instead of just letting her pass away, Athena cursed her to be a spider and says you have to continue weaving for forever, because that's who Athena is. So, but yes, I'm looking for weaving here. So both teams are correct. Your next category is strides in inclusivity. What national organization changed their policies after initial rejection of a Colorado girl named Bobby Montoya in 2011, announcing, "Blank is an inclusive organization, and we accept all girls in kindergarten through 12th grade as members. If a child identifies as a girl and the child's family presents her as a girl, Blank of Colorado welcomes her." So what goes in the blank?
Man, I cannot keep up with Liz and her typing. I can't even get it out until I get the answer from her. So.
Thank you, Mavis Beacon. Speaking of women's history.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are locked in.
Oh, did both teams lock in?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the question? Oh, right.
Yeah.
So if both teams are locked in, Beth and Liz, you can talk first.
Yeah, Girl Scouts. No question.
Right.
Of America.
Ashley and Jackie.
Yep, Girl Scouts of America.
This is indeed Girl Scouts of America. So the troop had initially rejected. She was 7 at the time, and the association as a whole looked at the policy like, no, this isn't the way that we're going to do this. We're going to accept anybody who, we're going to be an inclusive organization, and we will accept all girls as long as they fit in this age range. Very good. Cool. So our last question before the gauntlet is in feminist theory. Intersectionality is used to understand how different aspects of a person's identity combine and multiply to give different modes of oppression and privilege in that person's life. The theory was developed by what law professor, civil rights advocate, and critical race theory scholar? Liz is very excited.
Locked in.
All right. Jackie and Ashley, you can talk out loud.
Ashley, I accidentally closed my Facebook Messenger, but I'm going with what you said. I have no idea. I'm ashamed to say I have no idea because it sounds like a fascinating person.
Right before I was like hoping you would be like, yeah, okay, let's go with it. But yeah, that's fine. I typed in Crenshaw. I hope that's the right answer because that is what I remember from high school. So,
man, you had a progressive high school.
I was just going to say your high school taught this.
I went to a pretty steep, tough school. Well, we can talk about that after the show if you want. Yeah, send your kids there; they'll have a blast. Just kidding. Yeah. So, I went with Crenshaw. So, if you're comfortable with that, Jackie, we can go with that.
Lock it in. I ashamedly have nothing.
Let's do it.
Sorry for my big reaction. It was just one of those things where as soon as you asked it, the word left my brain, and then I caught it.
The same thing happened to me.
And then I caught it. It's such a satisfying word sound, too, when you have it back. Crenshaw. We locked in with Crenshaw. That is what we said.
The person I'm looking for here has a podcast, so I'm going to recommend a podcast to Jackie.
Bring it on. Add it to my list.
I'm looking for Kimberly Crenshaw. And the podcast that she has is called Intersectionality Matters. So it was spotty at the beginning. She would upload an episode maybe once every few months, but it's been raring for this past year. But yeah, Kimberly Crenshaw.
It's funny how you just pull this stuff out of your brain. You said intersectionality, and I was like, Crenshaw.
All right, so that is the end of the 6th round, and it is a tie game. It is 160 to 160. So let's get into the gauntlet. Your category is Queen of Tejano.
Our wager's locked.
We're locked in. Thank you.
All right, so both teams are locked in with their wagers. Let's get into your Queen of Tejano gauntlet. First question. This year would have been Selena's 50th birthday. She was born 2 years after what actress that depicted her in a 1997 biopic?
We're locked in.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Are you also locked in, Liz?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. I forgot that I had to say that.
Yeah.
Okay. So both teams are locked in. All right. Your second question. Selena's fashion was iconic and people are still influenced by it to this day. Partially due to her style, many media outlets drew parallels to what recording artist, a queen of a different genre?
I got nothing else, so.
Yeah, we're locked in.
There's only like one answer to this, right?
That's a great question.
There's so many. I'm sorry, let me go quiet again.
Liz, do you have any more of that gelt? So we can flip it and then say the opposite thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and lock in.
All right. Your third question. Selena's album Live won Best Mexican American Album in what year? Making it the first time a female Tejano artist did so.
We're locked in.
Yeah, I think that makes plenty of sense to lock in with.
Okay.
All right, so you're locked in. So both teams are locked in. All right, cool. So now we're going to read through again. You guys will give me your answers. This year would have been Selena's 50th birthday. She was born 2 years after what actress that depicted her in a 1997 biopic? We'll start with Ashley and Jackie.
We said Jennifer Lopez.
All right. Liz and Beth?
Yes, also.
We said J-Lo.
Selena's fashion was iconic and people are still influenced by it. Partially due to her style, many media outlets drew parallels to what recording artist, a queen of a different genre? Beth and Liz.
We had no idea.
Oh,
really?
We started, I think, with thinking of other genres.
Yeah. So we went with the Queen of Disco, Donna Summer.
Okay. Ashley and Jackie.
I credit Jackie for a lot of this, but we also started about thinking about other genres, and Selena was just thinking about her style, kind of like a jeans and jacket, like crop t-shirt kind of style, really casual, but like also really cool. And Jackie said Madonna, and I can definitely see that.
I can see that.
I also said Janet Jackson, because Janet Jackson usually wore clothes similar to that, really relaxed or not relaxed, but like casual style, very 90s, right? I think it ended up being like the iconic clothing style of the time. But I think our consensus brought us to Madonna, so we locked in Madonna.
And Selena's album Live won Best Mexican American Album in what year, making it the first time a female Tejano artist did so? Ashley and Jackie.
We said 1993. I know Selena died when I was not in kindergarten, but I remember it on the news from when I was like a little bit older than. I don't think I was like 10 already. I think she died in like 95 or 96. And I know that she had really blown up like just before she died. And I don't think it was the year before. So I suggested 93, and we kind of went with that. I think Jackie agrees. Right, Jackie?
Yeah, 90. As I typed, 93 works for me. I know it was around. I knew it was around that time, so that's as good a guess as any.
All right, Liz and Beth.
We did some mental math and kind of muffled around and landed on 1993.
All right. So the actress who played Selena in the movie Selena was indeed Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. The queen of a different genre I was looking for the queen of pop, which would be Madonna.
Good.
Finally, she's an answer.
Yeah, excellent, Ashley.
Jackie.
Oh, Jackie. All right.
It's a group effort.
The album Live was released in 1993. It won the Grammy in 1994.
Oh,
So,
Did you ask when it was
Lame.
released or when the Grammy was?
when she won the Grammy.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
Yep.
I was
All right.
I was thinking about it
Liz?
in my head, and I knew it was right before she died. It was one of the two.
Yeah,
you were
she
right there, Ashley. You were right there.
Liz, that's twice that we didn't think of Madonna.
That's twice.
The show title should be "Think of Madonna" or something.
She obviously is not on
to
our
me
radar.
that we were looking for a contemporaneous
Yeah.
person. I assumed it was someone like earlier that we were looking for that she was
Yeah,
comparing.
me too. Yeah.
It was like, can you believe she dresses like someone who is also a pop star today?
right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could believe that actually.
Absolutely.
Clearly, the celebrity Jews
Nice
was
clothing
lacking.
available at stores.
Well, I was just hanging on the Queen. I'm like, okay, Queen of Soul. She didn't dress like Aretha Franklin, so I was like, okay. So Queen of Disco was the only other one I could think of.
So unfortunately, both
Excellent.
teams missed the gauntlet, but it was a tie game going in. So we'll see what the wagers say. We're going to start with Beth and Liz because you are the first column on my spreadsheet here. What did you wager?
So I
Oh.
tried to read your mind a little, Carmela, and I knew there'd be one question about Selena, but I hoped that they would be about like queens of Texas generally, and there'd be like a Selena question, a Beyonce question, and maybe the chicks.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
that
we'd
makes
have,
sense.
Like, a better chance.
Yeah, we were hoping that it wasn't going to be all Selena. Unfortunately, we failed. So
I've been thinking about Selena lately, and I'm like, I don't think we've ever really done a lot of Selena questions on this show.
I also kind of thought if they were all Selena, you all would get them all right. This was my fault, Beth.
oh, it's not.
You were like, let's bet zero. No, this was a team decision. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We bet it all.
No.
You bet everything. All right.
Yeah, we bet everything.
All
We're
right.
bold. We're bold women who make bold choices.
Yeah,
Hey.
we're go big or go home.
We
So,
Thelma
you
and
know,
Louised it.
clearly. Yeah.
I
and
love it.
Rode off that
personally.
cliff together. We did it together.
I love it. You guys played a really awesome game, though. You will finish this game with 0. So Ashley and Jackie, if you bet anything other than everything, you will be the winners.
Well, we knew that the only logical bets were 0 or 160.
Mm-hmm.
And we figured out from the name of the category that it was going to be about Selena. And we were not all that confident in our Selena knowledge, as awesome as she is. So we bet 0.
All
Good
right.
for you.
And those are the 2 logical bets, and that's what
Yep.
the teams went with. So with a score of 160 to 0, Ashley and Jackie, you are the winners of this game.
And I will wear my 0 proudly.
No, both teams
We're
did
all
awesome.
winners.
I mean, it was a tie game going into the final, and both teams missed the final. So, it came down to wagers, but both teams did awesome. You guys did great. So,
That was good. That was
So
good.
much fun.
yes, thank you all for coming and playing with me today. I greatly appreciate it. But before we let everybody go, I'd like to give everyone chances to do any shout outs, any causes they want to promote. So, Ashley, we will start with you.
Yeah, so I just want to say, we're in the middle of a public health crisis, and it's one thing to consider how to keep yourself safe in a time like this, but, think about the people that are around you and what we could be doing to keep them safe. You may not know them, but one of the best things you can do is simply wear a mask when you go out and about, even if you see that person and they look healthy and fine. Having that mask on will just ensure that you're keeping everyone safe, and it's better to be safe than sorry. So look out for each other, wear that mask. That's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you. Jackie?
Well, I certainly echo all of Ashley's sentiments, and I want to say thank you to Ashley for being an amazing partner. Shout out to my fiance, Jeffrey, who is very quietly trying to wash dishes right now. So shout out to him for being quiet so I could record. And I want to, of course, as Ashley said, there is a public health crisis going on, and we need to keep ourselves and each other safe. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Put on a mask. It's easy. It helps. Also take care of your mental health. As a psych nurse, I'm a big proponent of mental health care and self-care. And, there are tons of options out there for therapy on the internet as well as on the phone. If you're not comfortable seeing people in person, there are lots of places where you can go that have a sliding scale or even offer free counseling, because we're all going through a lot of stuff right now. I mean, there's the normal life stuff, and then we're living in a pandemic. So take care of yourself. Get the help that you need. There's no shame in it.
Very awesome. Liz?
Well, we're recording for Women's History Month, but we're recording in Black History Month. So when's the last time you bought a book by a Black woman? Do it. Toni Morrison, N.K. Jemisin. Doesn't matter what it's about. Doesn't matter if it's fiction, nonfiction. Consume more art by women and people of color. There's a lot of it out there. And honestly, that's all I have to say. It's easier than you think to just do it and enrich your life.
I'm going to tell this to everybody. Definitely read The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. All right. And Beth, we'll finish out with you.
Well, one of my personal causes is the fight against voter suppression. So my big thing is vote every election, vote every time. There's lots of resources out there. If you're having trouble, there's people to reach out to. Right now, there's about 32 state legislatures that have legislation that are making it more difficult to vote instead of easier. Call your representatives to try and put a stop to that, but get out there and make your voice heard.
I love it. This is all great stuff. Well, again, ladies, thank you so much for coming in and recording with me today. I think this is a great game. Both teams did awesome. This is our 4th Women's History Month episode. And it's a tradition that I would like to continue. So I appreciate you guys sharing it with me today. And we will see everyone else out there next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.